G'day, welcome to my channel. If it's your first time, I'm Claytallstories. That's my houseboat there. Wrong key. Kitchen, my chair, couch for chilling out with friends, fire when it gets cold, stove for cooking grub, fridge. Well, we're looking at the starboard side. That's the view at the port side. This is the back porch. Sweet, eh? Got a few herbs here, so when I'm cooking up some grub, just take them off there. A bloke could have a worse view, that's for sure. It's beautiful. Being a man isn't what it used to be. Being a man just 300 or 400 years ago meant that you might have to fight to save your village, fight to protect your family. We're in a peaceful time right now. Men have evolved fighting. Men have evolved as hunters. Most of you don't have to go out and hunt and get your meat these days. You just go down to the supermarket. In fact, women these days are so emancipated in lots of countries and lots of places, they don't even need a man. They can do quite well without us. So it's up to you blokes to make yourself become valuable so they do need you. That way you attract the right partner. But what do you do to be valuable? What do you do to attract the right partner? I would say to myself, if I could have a talk with myself, if I go back when I was 13 years of age, I'd sit down with little Clay there, little adolescent Clay with a bit of bum fluff on his lip, who just started feeling things he hadn't felt before and didn't quite know where he's going. I'd talk to him like father to son, because my dad wasn't around when I was that young. His parents broke up when I was 10. I'd say, first thing I'd say to him is this, I'd say, be responsible. Take the bull by the horns when you have a problem and deal with it. Every time an issue comes up, something that feels uncomfortable or you don't like, don't bury your head in the sand like an ostrich, or don't cover it up by drinking lots of booze, or smoking dope, or taking drugs, or having excessive sex, or working hard, or exercising to the point where you can't feel it. Deal with the issue. If you don't deal with issues, then you forfeit the right to control them, and then they will take the path of least resistance and they will control you. Being a man is a good thing. Being a man means learning to stand up for those that can't stand up for themselves, learning to be responsible, learning to take control of a situation where it needs somebody with a little bit of guts, a little bit of balls to steer it in the right direction for the good of others. Being responsible and having self-respect and having self-discipline, getting up, doing that job, doing your work. Doing your work. If you don't do your work, then someone else has to do it for you. So you step up and do what's expected of you. But not to the point that you're killing yourself, to the point that you're getting your work done so you've got time to play. When you're a boy, you can get away with the most stupid shit until about the age of 25. That's when your frontal lobe in your head is fully developed. Well, hopefully it has. For some of us, it takes a bit longer. But that's the part of your brain which, can recognise risk or, I shouldn't do this. That's why young boys do the most dumbest things. When I'm out taking young fellas out hunting and they do something really stupid, I'll say to them, I know exactly what it was you were thinking right then. And they'll go, do you? And I go, yeah. And they go, what? And I'll go, nothing. And they go, yeah, I was thinking nothing. And they aren't thinking anything. They'll put their hand in a piece of machinery and wonder why they've lost a finger, or they'll do the dumbass things that cause them pain, and they just didn't think about what it was and the consequences it would be. That's why young men make the best soldiers, because they march off into battle and they have no fear for the consequences of what will happen. That's why insurance companies often don't insure men up to, say, the age of 25. They just won't give insurance because they know they're going to do a dumbass thing without thinking, and they're going to have to pay out. It's a fact. So being a man means growing up. And if you start doing dumbass things like when you're 30, like you can get away with stuff till maybe 20, 25 at the latest. But if you start doing dumbass stuff in your 30s, people will say it to you. Come on, man, grow the fuck up. What does that mean, to grow the fuck up? What does it mean? It means to start being responsible. It means when you wake up in the morning, first of all, you make your bed. You're going to sleep in it that night, so why not come home to a made bed? So you make your bed. You've got a job to go to. Get there before 8 o'clock if you start at 8 o'clock in the morning, 5 minutes early. So the boss sees you come in, and by the time you're working, bang, it's 8 o'clock and you're already giving him value. That's being responsible in your job. Tell the truth. Be honest. Say when you're feeling something's not right, talk about it so people know where you stand. Speak your truth about everything. Don't try to please people. Don't do that, because you'll end up being a mishmash, a wishy-washy version of yourself, a watered-down version of yourself. You don't want to be that. You don't want to try to fit in, so, go along with life and fit in just so everything's okay. You don't want that. If you fit in, you'll be comfortable and you won't piss anybody off, but then you won't attract the right same-minded persons as yourself. You'll end up with friends that aren't really like you, and you'll go, who are these people? I'm not really enjoying hanging out with them. If you speak your truth all the time, you'll find someone else who maybe was almost fearful to speak their truth, and they'll go, yeah, I resonate with what that bloke's saying, and they'll connect up with you, and suddenly you've got a friend beside you you're on the same page, and then you'll have people around you on the same page. It makes sense. I mean, I wouldn't go to a party of vegans. Actually, I have done that. It was hilarious, but not on purpose, because they're not like-minded people. We have different philosophy on life. They think that we're not meant to eat meat. I still think that's funny, but I'm serious. But so I wouldn't hang out with those sort of people. So by speaking your truth all the time and not being afraid of upsetting anybody, you get to in the end have the same sort of people that you want to be with. A lot of people don't do this, and they end up in situations with groups around them, and they just feel like they don't fit in. Well, they don't fit in because they haven't spoken their truth. So speak your truth. It's really, really important that as you go along, you're responsible for also how you feel. If you're having a bad day and you wake up, there's no one's fault but yours. Don't blame what happened. Don't play the pity game. I lost my arm, or I'm in a wheelchair, or 1,000 bad things can happen to us. You take responsibility for how your actions are and how you are towards other people. Even if you've had the worst, most heinous, horrible stuff happen to you, you still adopt a positive attitude, because in the end, you're the one that's feeling it. You're responsible for how you feel. So if you have this negative thing you carry around with you everywhere you go, what are you going to attract? You're going to attract all those negatively minded people exactly the same. This person resonates with me. He's on a downer. And you're going to have a whole bunch of friends, and they're all going to be on a big downer, and you'll be on a big downer together, and life will suck. If you don't take responsibility for things, they will start to control you. And as you go through your life, one day you'll find you're my age and you've got a shitty life. You'll wonder why your partner's left you. You'll wonder why you couldn't pay your bills. You wonder where the money went. You'll blame everything else but yourself. You won't go for the fact, well, I actually overspent on things I didn't need to impress people I didn't like. You won't talk about that. You won't go, those cigarettes that I smoked for 20 years, that cost X amount. And then when you get lung cancer, you won't even blame that, because you've got this filter in your mind that filters all out, because you never in the first place dealt with the issue when it first arose. So deal with shit as it comes along. Take responsibility for it. That's what men do. Otherwise, you'll end up a bitter, twisted, cynical, sad bastard. And that's no good to you, and it's no good to your partner or your children or the people around you. You want to be a man that is valued. You want to be valued. You want to value yourself. And that way, when you have a relationship with your children or your partner or your boss or anybody, they value what you're saying, and they get value put into their lives from you, because you're your true, authentic self. You're not a cover-up. You're not a fake. You are yourself. And that's the best thing you can be. I believe that people that get very, very unwell, I believe that they're not living their truth. Not all cases, because there's genetic disease, there's environmental things like virus, but a lot of cases of stress causing illness is because people aren't living their truths. I asked the doctor when I was over in Blenheim Hospital, I said to him, you see a lot of people come in here very sick. My cancer, it's in my family. My uncle died of it. It's exactly the same cancer. What do you think causes these illnesses in people? He said the biggest cause of illness, firstly, would be stress. He said ideally if you could choose your own genes, this would be a good one, but we can't do anything about that. But after that, stress. And interesting, after that, it was sugar. Isn't that interesting? Sugar. Because all disease, or most disease at least, most disease comes from a form of inflammation. And what drives inflammation? Sugar. Doesn't matter if it's diabetes type 2, heart disease, a neuro thing going on, Parkinson's disease, there's always something to do with inflammation. And sugar is the biggest driver. That means refined things like wheat, pasta, refined carbohydrates, straight sugar, all the things that are really, really sweet that we didn't naturally evolve eating. That was interesting. Off track a little bit about being a man. So to sum this up for you guys that are listening, that are finding your way through life, and we're all finding our way right to the very, very end, let me just say this. Personally, me, I'm winging it, man. I'm just winging it. I'm just making it up as I go along. I don't know where I'm going half the time. Sometimes I'm going the wrong direction. Whoa, and I back up. But whatever happens, wherever I'm going and wherever I crash my vehicle of life, going through life, wherever I go, I always take responsibility for that fuck up that I've done, for that cock up that I've had, whether it's my health or whether it's something financial or something in a relationship. I always go, what have I done wrong here? I never point the finger at anybody else. I never say things like, and I've heard, oh, I had a bad upbringing, or my father beat me, or like I was tormented by my mother. I don't ever do that. I always go, what have I done? I had a strange upbringing. I was in hospital when I was the age of 5 and away from my mother and father for a long time. And I suffered some abandonment issues. And because of that, during my 30s particularly, and some of my 40s, I was a shocking womanizer. I was always trying to replace that feeling of abandonment. It took me a long time to work out why I was being such a shocking womanizer, and I had to claim that myself. Even though it happened when I was like 5 years of age, the feeling of being abandoned, it was still up to me to take responsibility for it. I couldn't blame anybody else because I was the one that was feeling it. And it's the same as you get angry, road rage, anything. If you see someone with road rage, that's their anger. It didn't come from the person that cut them off. It come from them getting angry because it's your anger. Being a man is about taking control of your anger when you have it, not letting it control you. Learning how to feel it and channel it in the right direction. That's why I love going for a hunt. You get out in the bush, you're always like sweating, you're going up the hill trying to keep up the dogs. You've got no anger left in you by the end of the day. It's all gone out. You're completely empty. That's a natural thing. That's why getting in the boxing ring is good. You get in there for a bit. I tell you what, most of the guys I know that are boxers, that do it, when they're out of the ring, they're the most peaceful, quietly spoken guys you've ever met. Because they get all their yah-yahs out punching the bag or sparring with somebody. It's healthy. Same with sport, sport's good. So find your outlet. It might be music. When I used to play concerts, getting on stage and playing the old concert, man, after a concert, I always feel so chill, so content, so relaxed, just like nothing in this world is a bother. It's all gone. I got a mate, loves to mountain bike. I notice after he's done a mountain bike ride, he's always so chill. I see him, I give him a big hug, bro, and you can feel his energy's just resonating good. You need to find the thing that sparks your joy, that gets rid of all your yah-yahs, gets rid of all that negative energy, and then fills you up with who you are. It could be something really, really simple. It might be just walking on a beach once a day. Everyone's got their thing. You got to find out what yours is. But that's also part of being a man, finding out what the thing is that drives you to being your true, authentic self. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. If it's the most weirdest, outrageous thing, if it makes you feel like a man, do it. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It's their business, not yours. And I've got mates, so I've got some very, a wide range of friends. And some of my friends are just straight out weirdos. I love them for being themselves, man. I won't go to that too deep, but some of them you couldn't put them on a public domain, and people would be like, holy shit, what's this guy doing? But what I love about them is they speak their truth, and I always feel safe around those people because I know exactly where I stand. I know what's going to happen next. I know where I sit with them. I much prefer that to someone who's trying to be something that they're not. Being a man is being yourself and stuff what the world thinks. This has been a bit of a talk off the top of my head. I've said some of the things I want to say, but I want to pick this conversation up again sometime. Hope you found some value to it. And remember to share it to someone that you think might need to hear it because, like I said, my channel, nothing gets shared and it doesn't go very far because it is restricted because it's a channel about hunting and fishing. And if you've got a hunting channel today on YouTube, ain't going to go anywhere. Just won't. Because nobody can put any advertising on it. They should be able to. They should be able to advertise for, guns, fishing rods, knives, all the stuff around it. But they don't. I don't understand that. Or maybe it's a bigger picture, something going on. Maybe they're trying to stop us from being men and going hunting. Anyway, that's my quick yak. Be good, can't be good, be careful, and see you soon.